I'm content creator Sally Eslin, the founder of Empowered Clothing. I'm dedicated to empower women entrepreneurs by sharing tools, tips, and resources through leadership, mindset, and more on my show, Finding Your Way with Sally. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm Sally Eslin, and yes, I'm a content creator and founder of Empowered Clothing. I share authentic and everyday issues for women over 50. So you can learn more about my fashion products and services at empoweredclothing.com.au. So today I'm very excited to sit down and have a chat with Dania Baayoun, and we're talking about how to crush the inner critic. And she's a certified mindset and executive coach. So before I bring Dania up to the screen, I thought, well, that ties in really well with my Racerback line of clothing around I choose to be heard, about the light blue one, which is all about the throat chakra. So if you're familiar with the throat chakra, it's I'm just going to show you some of the pictures of the blue tops. I have the long sleeve one also and the short sleeve one, and it's about choosing to be heard or speaking with truth, love, and acceptance, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be heard, but also when you're speaking from a place of truth, speaking from a place of love, and speaking from a place of acceptance, what's not to love about that? Because people really resonate with authenticity and truth. So the throat chakra, of course, is located around the throat. It's coloured, associated with the colour pale blue, and it's about communication, self-expression, clarity, authenticity, integrity, and the ability to speak one's truth. So there you go. That's all just tying in very nicely with our topic today. So how to crush the inner critic. When you're speaking from a place of love, respect, and dignity, you can't go wrong. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Dania up to the stage and also just introduce her with a short little bio. So welcome, Dania.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on Finding Your Way. So you are the catalyst for transformation. Your journey has taken you from managing a law firm to curating a flourishing floral design and event business to finally finding your true calling, which is in coaching. You've got a background in psychology, a graduate degree, and certifications as both a professional and executive coach, and you've seamlessly channeled your innate ability to connect with people into translating their visions into actionable steps. So wow, what a career path you've had, babe.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. I mean, from lawyer to coach, from, event manager to this. I mean, we've all gone through journeys and gone through lots of transformations, but yours is pretty amazing. And, it's formed you to who you are, hey?
That's right. I think all of us are exactly where we're meant to be. And the journey is how you grow, how you become nuanced and enriched by all of your experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, today you brought along an empowerment share. You've always been anchored to the woman within you, even in the toughest times. When lost, you seek your guidance and let her lead. I have an inner critic blueprint freebie, a 7-step method. Do you want to talk about your inner critic blueprint?
Yeah, I would love to. I worked on it and put it together because I, along with I'm sure many women, suffer from the relentless chatter of your inner critic, and we
Yeah.
work hard to make decisions that are aligned with our purpose and our higher selves. But at the end of the day, it's that kind of din in the background, questioning everything that you do, that is so difficult to get over. And
Yeah.
so I didn't want to start having the inner critic to continue for her to make the decisions for me. I wanted to feel empowered and authentic enough to be able to make my own decisions. And this is kind of the little bit of a system that came out of it. So really the way I use it and would help for it to be of service to, people listening is right when you're having some really negative thoughts about a decision or about yourself. It's just 7 steps. Go through them in this order. It takes all of 5 minutes, and I guarantee there will be a shift in your energy. So, very simply, the first step is you have to have awareness. Right when these thoughts start to come in, catch yourself and say, oh, I'm having a negative thought, instead of I am the negative thought. So, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get a little bit of distance between you and the thought, to give you enough perspective to kind of see it as just a thought and not to see it as the truth in the moment. The next step after that is very simple but very deceptive. It's to pause and breathe. Just take 1 minute, a little bit, just stop, take a couple of deep breaths, count for 4 in, hold it at the top, release it. And right. And then what this does is that you drop out of your head into your body momentarily,
Yeah.
which gives you some presence, and then it kicks the thought to the side, so your parasympathetic nervous system, your calming response starts to kick in, just to give you enough time to catch the narrative before the inner critic takes it and runs with it.
Love
Now
it.
the third step is to challenge the inner thought. I am a loser, I'm not going to be able to do that I'm not going to be able to do this presentation.
Yeah.
Challenge it. Say, well, where did this come from? Where is the truth to this? And actually remind yourself, okay, let me say these out loud. So am I really somebody who could never put this together? Am I really not qualified to run this team? When you say these things out loud and you take a moment to break them down, it's ridiculous. Of course you're qualified. And
Yeah.
then the real shift is when the next step, which is step number 4, which is to reframe, to take the thing you're challenging and reframe it in a positive, empowered light. Because the whole idea is to take a disempowered approach and put your empowered spin on it, because we want you to make the decision, not your fears to make the decision. So when you spin it around positively and you have affirmations that could be neutral or positive, things that you believe, you're showing your inner critic a whole bunch of evidence why this thought is wrong.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of your wins, remind yourself of your gifts. Say, no, actually, I did this, I'm capable of this, I nailed this one before. And if I'm failing, well, then I'm learning. So putting a positive spin on it, then you are now in the driver's seat rather than the inner critic. And then
Yeah.
the next step would be to anchor all of this goodness with a little bit of gratitude, to remind yourself of maybe 2 or 3 things or people that you're grateful for. Because gratitude is like the antidote to self-doubt, and it raises your vibration, and it's no longer just about you.
Yeah.
Get to kind of get a feel for, no, wait a minute, I have things in my life or people in my life that I'm grateful for. So I do have support, I am loved, this does matter. So it takes the wind out of the critic's argument, which is you're by yourself, you're worthless, nothing will ever work, right? And then come to the next step, which is funny but it's true, and it's taking on the power pose. Now for your clothing line and all of that, I'm sure that's part of, when you put those your clothes on, the clothing that you sell, there's that power, that that
Absolutely.
vitality. The same thing with the power pose is you sit up tall or stand up tall and embody the confidence in your body that you want your mind to feel. And
Mm.
really the connection between our physiology and our mood and our thoughts is undeniable. And at the very end of this, the last one is just check in with yourself. How do you feel now? Hopefully better, more empowered, you're in control of the narrative. Then you go ahead and take the decision from a place of confidence and clarity. Finito.
Anita, I love that. I love how it's really structured and every step makes sense. And I love how you bring in the gratitude at the end, because that is one of the quickest and easiest ways, as you said, to shift and lift your energy, because it puts everything back into perspective. And we all suffer from this inner critic that just is so quick to sabotage us and put us down. It's like, you're not good enough, you can't do this, blah, 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 blah. But when you have a structured way to get out of it, it helps, right? It's just like you jump into your toolbox, you pull it out, and And so you've actually offered that up as a freebie today, actually. So I've put the link, I'll put it in the text as well.
You can just download the document and it explains the steps in detail, and then it gives you a space beneath every step to write out your thoughts, your challenges, the people you're thankful for. So it's very interactive, and it's something you can just internalize once you learn it. And you're absolutely right, Sally, it's a tool from your toolbox to be there in the moment and shift so that you're in control.
And I love how you call your business Fierce Muse Coaching. It's
Yes.
How did that come? title land? Like, how did you?
I think the name of a business has to encapsulate not only who you are, but who your client is going to become. The transformation is, I want my clients to be their own muses. I want them to be their own inspiration, but in a fierce way, alive, in an empowered way, where you are sourcing your validation from within. So that when I came up with it, to me, it landed. So I'm like, I'm hoping it lands everywhere else as well.
Yeah, well, it's memorable, isn't it? Fierce Muse Coaching, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you've also brought along a tip today. So when reeling in your wayward inner critic is to be compassionate with yourself and boldly challenge thoughts you're having and fight against identifying with the thoughts, but instead be aware that they're just thoughts, right? So yeah, do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if there is one tip that I would want people to take home, it would be exactly that: to not blame yourself to having these thoughts, nor to identify as your own inner critic, but to have some awareness that they are two separate things. The
Yeah.
thoughts are just what your mind does. It just thinks. It's what a brain is supposed to do. But that is not your truth. You have some agency in deciding which of these thoughts are true, which are not, and in which ones you're going to put your power, put your truth, anchor yourself. These are choices. So the minute you kind of understand that you have some power over that, I think it shifts the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so funny because the share that I brought along today is just in line with what you're saying. The best way to stop the inner critic is to just stop, pause, and reset your thoughts. Because once you have the awareness, you have to have the awareness, right? You can't change what you don't know. So once you have the awareness of the negative thoughts, then you can do something about it. But if you don't know what's going on, if that's your normal narrative, well, then that's just the way that you're living life. So this is definitely a time of conscious waking up, conscious awareness of like getting to own your stuff, like own those thoughts and realize that that's not, it's not helping me. It's actually harming me. So you've got to stop, pause, and reset it. So that was my little share that I brought along today. And my tip.
Totally on point.
And my tip is very much in line with that. You can crush the inner critic by journaling out your thoughts. So, the power of putting pen to paper, because I've got a beautiful 30-day wellness mindset journal. But it's just when you write stuff down, that's one good way of letting it out. So, that was my little tip that I've brought along today. So, as I said, we've got this you're offering up everybody this beautiful special gift of the inner critic blueprint, and I will put that link in the content as well at the end, or in the comments section of it all. But that's so powerful. Just, it's what I love. It's really structured so that you can just go through the steps, so it's not too overwhelming. Just follow the bouncy ball, if you like, and it's going to take you to amazingness on the other side, because once you actually stop and realize what's going on, then you can do something about it. And how much better do you feel when you say, hey, shut up, critic?
Exactly.
And bring in that little champion, and the inner coach takes over. And it's so empowering, as you said before, and anchoring yourself down. It's just so good when you go, oh my gosh, I've shut the door on that person. And because it just dampens your life. And we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time, right?
That's so true. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the show. It is now. It is live, right? And so you're right. And you want your fierce muse, in essence, to make these decisions, because she already knows where you want to go, and she's never going to steer you wrong. Whereas your inner critic, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, absolutely. We are so aligned, and I just think what you're doing is so awesome. So every week I just pull a card from one of my Bling Angel decks. They all have different energy to it. So today we're going to pull a card and see what comes up. So you never get a wrong card, right? There's always a message that's apt for everybody. So the card today just says, changing the world is an exciting idea. Changing yourself makes it possible. Oh my God, is that not in alignment with what
right? It speaks to what we're talking about. Exactly.
Yeah, change yourself, and then you can change the world. It's an inside job, guys, or chicks, and whatever.
Agency to change from the thoughts on out, because your actions are born from whatever thoughts you're having and what power you assign to them. So yeah, change is an inside job indeed. I love it. How on point. Thank you, Sally.
You never get a wrong card. Well, Dania, thank you so much for coming on Finding Your Way. It just is over like that. It's ridiculous. So I hope to have you back on the show again soon. And everybody, there's a beautiful freebie that you can access. It's a 7-part, get in charge of getting the driver's seat of your own energy. As I said, it's the Muse method, as we've got up here on the screen. And Dania, you are such a top chick. So thank you so much for coming on today. Okay, I'll drop you down to the green room, and we'll take it away from there. So everybody, thank you so much for joining me. You can join me for another episode of Finding Your Way with Sally Estlin next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Central time, and Thursday 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So Dania is such a top chick. I highly encourage you to reach out to her and at least take the freebie. It's just there, right? So I look forward to catching up with you all next week, and thanks again for joining me. See you later. You can learn more about my services and products at sallyestlin.com. Make sure to join me every week for a new episode on the SWE Media Network YouTube channel and wherever you listen to podcasts.